What's up, guys? Big Papa Drock back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. As always, I hope you're having a fantastic day. It's been a fantastic day for me. Been a lot of fantastic days for me lately, which has been really nice. Nice to string together some good days, right, guys? Let me know in the comments down below something awesome that's happened to you recently. I'd love to read just some good things happening in people's lives. So that has nothing to do with today's video. Just felt inspired for a moment when I started hitting, when I hit the record button. So anyway, guys, what we're going to talk about today is Admiral Blacktusk of the Dwarves. So we just had a recent summoning event for him. I had actually summoned him a while back now at this point, and just hadn't had a chance to build him and test him fully. I'd started doing it and then kind of got sidetracked by some things that came up in his kit, and then, you know, life came into play, and here we are. Here we are weeks later. So we're going to talk about Admiral Blacktusk. Let's take a look at how we've built him, and if you happen to summon him, discuss where he can be used. So, our boy Admiral Blacktusk. Cool look, by the way. Looks like kind of like almost a samurai in some ways. A samurai dwarf. I don't know. Am I the only one that thinks this? So let's take a look at the skills. First and foremost, this is the faction unity champion, by the way, for the dwarves. He is a support. Let's take a look. We got an A1, attacks one enemy, has a 40% chance of placing a stun debuff for one turn. This debuff cannot be resisted when this champion is attacking out of their active turn. Damage based on defense and HP, and he books up to a 60% chance of placing that stun debuff. So now note, only unresistible, or irresistible, I should say, when attacking out of an active turn. So counterattacks, that kind of stuff. So you do need accuracy on this if you're trying to land it normally. A2, Admiral's Orders, removes all debuffs from all allies. Cool. Then teams up with all allies to attack a single enemy. The allies joining the attack will use their default skills. Okay, sick. Ally attacker and a cleanse. Nice. We like to have both of those abilities in the same, ability. So that's pretty good. Or both of those, effects on the same ability. So cool. Ally attack. Then we've got Defender a Sky Iron. Removes all buffs from a target enemy and places a stun debuff on them for 2 turns. Fills this champion's turn meter by 50%. Fills this champion's turn meter by an additional 10% for each buff removed from the target. So this, I mean, this could legitimately be a extra turn, essentially. There's so many buffs that go out, 3-turn cooldown, but this could end up being really only a 2-turn cooldown, since you're just getting back to it so quickly. And five buffs, I mean, that's not easy. Like, maybe somebody doesn't have that many buffs, but you know, at least you get 20, 30, 40. I don't know. So sounds pretty cool. Let's look at the faction unity portion of it. One faction ally, the buff removal and stun debuff cannot be resisted. So, okay, if we get one dwarf on the team, we don't have to worry about accuracy for this ability. 2 faction allies resets the cooldown of the skill when an enemy is killed while under a stun debuff placed by this champion. Nice. 3 faction allies deal double damage to targets under stun debuffs placed by this champion. Ooh, double damage. Sounds nice. Now, unfortunately, stun debuffs aren't really going to help us in PvE except for wave content, right? Like, you're not stunning bosses. So this is kind of a bummer that you can't get double damage under bosses, right? Like, that would be super incredible for stuff like Hydra or Chimera. But alas, stun debuffs, beep, boop, beep, boop, ain't going to work. Let's take a look at the passive. Uniter of Dwarves. He's the Dwarf Uniter. Allies will counterattack whenever they lose 10% or more of their max HP from a single hit. Okay. If there are multiple champions in the team with this skill, only one will activate. Interesting. So we're getting a counterattack if we're losing 10% or more of our max HP. It's tough because I feel like this champion is meant to be an arena champion, or at least feels that way, you know, with some of his kit. But, sometimes people nuke you, right? And you just don't survive. So how often are you going to trigger that counterattack, especially if you're using attack-based champions? I don't know. I mean, certainly there's one attack-based champion that sounds like he could absolutely work with this, and we'll see him in some teams shortly. But on the whole, I'm going to be curious to see how this works. One faction ally for this: whenever an ally places a fear, true fear, freeze, provoke, sleep, stun, or petrification debuff, fills that champion's turn meter by 20%, occurs once per skill. If there are multiple champions in the team with the skill, only one will activate. So yeah. Definitely feeling pretty PvE, esque, not boss-esque, since he's getting turn meter fills for allies when they're placing, control debuffs that bosses typically don't allow. 2 faction allies, whenever an ally is attacked, has a 50% chance of placing a 50% decreased resistance debuff and a 30% decreased speed debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. If the ally is under block damage, unkillable, ally protection, or stone skin buffs, chance increases to 100%. There are multiple champs in the team with the skill, only one will activate. All right, this makes me super nervous for Arena because this just screams polymorph. If you're throwing out decreased resistance and speed, 100% of the time, if someone's under stone skin, that like your whole team's going to be sheep, or at least usually will be sheep unless they're built in pinpoint. So we'll see how bad this ends up being, but this actually makes me really nervous. 3 faction allies at the start of each round places a stone skin buff on all allies for 1 turn. If there are multiple champs in the team with a skill, only one will activate. Here we go, baby. Now here's the meat and potatoes. This was why I originally chose to go for him like a month or 2 ago whenever they had him on, I think it was Summon Crystals or something like that. It was literally just for this, because at the start of each round, placing a stone skin buff is pretty incredible, or at least so I thought at the time, because unfortunately I didn't realize that this stone skin buff that he places on his champion friends is not a normal stone skin buff, or at least not the stone skin buff you'd get from a stone skin set, and that it is not protected. That's right, it does not get a 50-50 chance of blocking steals or removals. And if had I known that, frankly, I don't think I would have summoned this champion. But we'll get into that in a bit, and we'll see what he does in Arena. But like, to me, this is by far the best part of his kit. This one specific thing here, because you could hypothetically build champions slower in Classic Arena or in Siege, have them get stone skin put on them already, or even build them faster potentially, where you don't have to worry about putting them in stone skin. But it's not protected, so there are ways around that, which we'll get into in terms of how I built him, but kind of a bummer. Aura, ally accuracy, and then he gets the bonus 15% speed only to dwarves. Cool. Let's talk about blessings. I've got him in Lightning Cage. Helps with, preventing stone skin removals. So that's why I'm going Lightning Cage. You could go a bunch of different stuff here. I think Lightning Cage makes a lot of sense. You could do him as Intimidating Presence for the aura. You could certainly do stuff like Polymorph is viable. Again, I don't really see him as a PvE champion, so I don't think Brimstone makes a ton of sense, but, maybe there are like some niche uses for PvE, which we can talk about in a second, but Chainbreaker, maybe Life Harvest, but I don't know. I think personally Lightning Cage, Polymorph make the most sense, especially because you might want to build them with a little bit of accuracy, but we'll get into that in a sec. Let's take a look at the masteries. Support champion, support masteries. The most important mastery by far to put on him is Lasting Gifts, because that allows you to potentially extend the duration of the stone skin buff that he places. So instead of a 1-turn stone skin buff, it can become a 2-turn stone skin buff. Kind of crazy that that's the case, but by far Lasting Gifts, the most important thing. If you put nothing else on him, that's the way to go. I've gone Eagle Eye to get him a boost in accuracy. I've also gone Cycle of Magic and Lore of Steel, kind of give him a chance to reset some of those skills faster, as well as give him a little bit of boost. And then also I've gone Sniper here because I want to give him a higher chance of placing that stun debuff on his A1. So it's 60% when booked. Excuse me, I'm lying. This doesn't help stun debuff. So this actually was pointless, except to get to Eagle Eye. Oh well. It's been a long weekend, guys. You'll have to forgive me. If you're not doing this, I don't think it really makes sense to do Master Hexer, right? He's not placing any other debuffs other than stun. Yeah, so just get the Eagle Eye. So either one of those works to go to Eagle Eye, which I do think helps with giving him extra accuracy. And then pretty standard accuracy up here. I went Cycle of Revenge. You could absolutely go with a counterattack like Retribution, so that he's more likely to trigger that counterattack on the A1. So this is certainly viable. If you don't want to go Eagle Eye, you could go over here, right? Get like both counterattack masteries potentially. Maybe build him with some resist, or do Fearsome Presence, which certainly would help him place stuns more frequently on the A1. But I don't know if this is necessarily 100% needed. I think I'd rather have the accuracy boost so I can give him better stats. That's just me. We've got him 4-star Awaken, you can see here. Let's go into the build. Oh boy, an all protection build. What is this, Drock? 9-piece protection. Why would you build Admiral Blacktusk in 9-piece protection? Well, specifically because of this right here. The fact that this isn't a protected stone skin buff means, in my opinion, that the best way to build him is going to be 9-piece protection, because then you have a 75% chance to give a protected stone skin buff to your allies, right? So instead of it not being protected, now you're giving yourself a 75% chance for those stone skin buffs to work, really, frankly, better than a normal stone skin buff would work, because this would be 100% protection. You'll also increase the damage of your allies, which could be useful for the ally attack. So I think unequivocally this is the best build to put him in. The one thing that makes me concerned, honestly, about this build, it's just polymorph. You know what I mean? It's just becoming a sheep. That's pretty much it. He does put out, stun debuff on 2 different abilities, right? On his A1 and on his A3. And that is the one thing that makes me concerned with going full protection. But frankly, given the way that stone skin buffs work when they're placed by champions, now that I know about that, I do think this is the best way. If you weren't going to go full 9-piece protection, you could go something like, potentially pinpoint bolster on him. Since he's going to stone skin himself when you use other dwarves, there's no point in doing that. So pinpoint bolster. You could go less protection. You could go like pinpoint and 4 pieces of protection, but that's only going to give you a 25% chance. That's pretty rough. Frankly, I don't think that makes sense, but those are some other options you could use if you so choose. You could also use something like Feral as well. Like maybe throw a Feral set on him and use some protection. Then like maybe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could do a 4-piece Feral, 4-piece pinpoint, or 4-piece protection. But for my money, I think 9-piece protection probably going to be the way to go. We'll find out when we get him in arena. I haven't tested him yet. And then finally, for the relic, I've thrown a wand of submission on him. Again, just kind of an all-purpose, one of the best options for almost any champion in the arena to prevent crowd control, to reflect polymorphs should he trigger them with that stun. I do think this is probably the best overall relic for our boy. You could do Aspectus Wrath, of course, is always a fun one. You could do stuff like Gilded Dragonstone, maybe increase his, right here, increase his defenses, and super great. Golden Elixir, when he drops below 10%, heal him. He gets that counterattack, of course, when he loses a bunch of HP. I don't know. I still think Wand of Submission, surprise, surprise, is probably your best bet. You could do a Molten Death Bell, though, for the turn meter increase when applying stuns. He's got a lot of turn meter increase in his kit, so I don't think this is necessarily needed. But if you were trying to go ultra fast, that's one of the things you could do as well. So we got them all in protection. Let's take a look at the stats. We'll take a look at the pieces here. These aren't super incredible pieces. I just threw some on that I had with the optimizer. I haven't built him insanely fast or insanely tanky. More just kind of let's see what he can do. Let's give him the requisite stats. You know what? Hold on. Let's just throw a little 3 for on there. Okay, there you go. Can't help myself. Look, even the ascension isn't right where it's supposed to be. But hey, nice speed though. Triple speed isn't bad. A couple triple speeds here. And then we've got single speed over here. We'll throw another little speed on him. A little baby speed. Oh, the game's lagging. Okay, another tuber. You know what? We'll even ascend. We'll ascend. Why not? Accuracy? Sure. I'm hurting so badly. I need that mixer, Plarium. Where is the oil and the dust mixer? Or whatever this is. The oils and I can't remember. Essence. Yep. Like I said, full protection, triple rolls. Can certainly boost them up more with some glyphs, but don't want to waste them. Let's take a look at the total stats. We're sitting at 86k HP, 4,500 defense, 342 speed, and 339 accuracy. So these aren't earth-shattering stats, but frankly, he's really meant to go second anyway. With the stone skin buffs being put up, that's kind of I think, going to be his bread and butter. So we're going to test it out and see what he can do. Now, before I go into arena, and I really do want to focus on arena, well, steal deal. Oh my, what a steal. Oh, what a steal, Plarium. Stealing money from my bank account is what you're trying to do there. Let's talk quickly about areas you can use him in PvP. You can use him hypothetically in Sand Devils and Phantom Shogun if you need to get your dwarfs on a team and bust out multiple newts. For example, if you have multiple Chrysias and newts, you can use them with that. I've seen other creators like Scratch, for example, did some quick teams here with Ruella and a Chrysia and a newt. I'm not going to do this because, frankly, I don't feel like rebuilding every one of my dwarf champions to specifically work in these, but because he is placing a stone skin buff, that is something that would allow you to kind of, not cheese, but to easily do Sand Devils and Phantom Shogun's Grove if you have the speeds right. You need these bosses to go first in order to pull it off, and I just, frankly, don't feel like rebuilding 4 different champions to show you that. So anyway, just a hat tip to Scratch, though. That was where I first heard about that ability. So let's take him into arena, though, and see what he can do in arena. We're not going to do a dragon test because he's not a damage dealer, so no point there. We are in Platinum Arena, as you can see. And, okay, here we go. We've got a little, yeah, this is good. But this is technically not great with the Fabian right there in terms of locking us out. But let's put together a little dwarf team. Now, in terms of the best dwarfs to use him with, without a doubt, this is going to be number one. Arnorn with this champion should be pretty awesome, or at least I hope it will. I really can't think of a better dwarf than Arnorn to use him with. I feel like that is the absolute best case scenario. The other options would be things like Senna, Tormund. You could certainly pop a Frolny in there as well for more damage potentially, but I think I'm going to roll with this team for now and just see how it feels. So technically we might do some freezes. We might become a sheep. No, it looks like there's only one. So, you know, any of the dwarfs we'll use, but I think your best bet for PvP in the current meta, things like Arnorn for sure, number one, Senna potentially, Frolny certainly could work, Goffric could work with potentially keeping other people alive, maybe a Molly potentially, maybe a Molly, depends on what level you're at, and then, of course, Trunda can do a massive amount of damage still in PvP, though you don't see her very frequently anymore, so we'll see how this feels. This feels decent to me. Let's try this. I have literally yet to test him, so I genuinely have no idea what to expect. But okay, nice. Looks like we got a couple of protected debuffs here. Only, unfortunately, our Torments didn't get protected, and sure enough, it got stripped, which is a bummer. Everybody else's is fine, which is good. Let's go ahead and hit. All right, we stun right there. Nice. We didn't become a sheep. You love to see it. Now, the nice thing about protected buffs, right? Like, we don't have to worry about Marius here. Kind of sick, right? Now, I don't think it makes a ton of sense to go against lockout teams with this kind of comp. I do think that lockout teams are one of the things that are going to be tough to really maximize value, but I wanted to see, just out of curiosity, how it ends up working. Now, you'll also notice I do have a shield here, and that's because I put a bolster set on my Senna, so that way I could get Stone Skin and bolster. I think that's one of the coolest ways to use this champion. Throw a big old bolster shield out, get those Stone Skin buffs hopefully protected. That's kind of sick, actually. And as long as someone isn't locking you out, you have the ability to use your skills. But let's go ahead and slow it down. Let's take a look here. We've got the removes all buff, places the stuns, fills the turn meter for each buff removed, and removes all debuffs. We could actually go this route. He does have True Fear on him. Let's just try this. All right, nice. There's the ally attack. Boom, dead. Arnorn, do that damage, baby. Didn't land any freezes there. That's tough. Now we're the ones polymorphing. All right. Marius says goodnight. Yes, heal up. Look at the turn meter increase. You'll love to see it. We got Lightning Cage sprinting around like a crazy person, and then we got Arnorn coming here and finishing everything off. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. Now let's see how it works over here versus a team that doesn't have lockout but has immense amounts of damage and, you know, buff decrease. Let's see if we get lucky and we can get a quad protect. Do we get a quad protect? No, still Tormund getting rocked on the protect, unfortunately. Those turn meters all allies, revives all allies. I actually haven't used Senna before, so I don't really want to fill the turn meters of everybody yet, I don't think. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of chill. Let's see how this works. She might die here, but that's okay. Moves all debuffs from all allies. All right, we stunned him. Everybody's got frozen, courtesy of our good friend. This is honestly kind of great. Actually kind of like this. All right, he's unfortunately did enough damage to trigger his cleanse of his stun right there. You might have seen. All right, we have 2 turn up, so the lasting gift's really coming in clutch here. He's frozen again thanks to Tormund, though. This is honestly kind of sick. AoE, nice. Some good damage there. This is the removes all buffs, right? And it can't be resisted. This is actually kind of cool. I'm kind of liking this goofy setup we've got going on here. Removes all buffs, team up. Boop, boop, boop. Tormund kills them all. That was actually kind of cool. Okay. All right. Ooh. Well, only level 81. Hold on. Let's see if we can find a... Oh, that would be really rough with all the buffs of Volcanos. Oh, another lockout. Let's see if we can find a nice team, huh? Bomb's obviously not going to be our friend in these builds. Definitely don't want to go against bomb teams. Can we find, like, lockout, Taurus Marichka? Here's one. Lockout again. Oh, here we go. Lazarius, Taurus Marichka. Nice. Juicy. That's a juicy one. We're also not built super fast in any of these champions, right? That's the one advantage. Why is he not ever getting protected? It's just, why does the game hate him? Okay, so funny enough, we're still slower, which is surprising, right? Still slower. Okay, we did get the stun there, which is good. We'll take it. He's already back to his turn, which is kind of cool. We'll just A1 here. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh, sweet merciful Lord. That Nice just said, it's over, son. The Nice just said, it's over. Your block revived. Say goodnight. It's time to sit down. My God, that hit hard. Can we get him into a second form here and kill him? I hope so. Yes, beautiful. Go ahead and just nuke. I'm not worried because we got the stone skin. Oh my God, he blasted through it. Of course he did. No. God. Taurus is still disgusting. Still so disgusting. Oh my God. Are we dead? We might be dead here. Oh, we froze though thanks to the Tormund. Tormund still works against Taurus Marichka, assuming you can, of course, you know, get them out of the stone skin. But okay, this is working. I wish Blacktusk were still available, but you know, you get the drift, you get the idea. God, Arnoran, you naughty boy. You naughty boy, Arnoran. Can we kill the Marichka before she heals? Oh, but there it comes. Beautiful. The freeze comes in, and we've procced our stone skin. Turn meter boost. We have it available. Please kill this Nice. Extra turn. Huge. Kill the Lazarius. It's actually working. I can't believe it. It's actually working. And we lost Blacktusk. This is just the power of Arnoran, frankly. Like you're seeing, you know, I did an Arnoran showcase video the other day. Now you're seeing extra excitement of Arnoran. Now, this isn't a fast team by any stretch of the imagination, but it does work. It is killing. We did win. So frankly, not bad. Although funny enough, we were still faster than a lot of these teams. Ooh, here's a good one. Odin, Sifi, Rhodos, and Gurgo. Let's try this. Let's try this one. You know, let's take Senna out. We'll put Arnorn in. None of my other dwarfs really make sense here. I'm going to keep this as is, even though Tormund really kind of countered super hard by Sifi. All right, did we get... Bro, what is going on? I'm genuinely... something has to be wrong here. There's absolutely no way that he should have not gotten at least one protected buff, right? Something's messed up. He should be getting protected buffs, and he's not. So I mean, we'll keep doing this, but I feel like that's a bug almost, right? You know what I mean? All right, we need to remove all debuffs. Excuse me, all buffs. Remove all debuffs. Remove all buffs. Hold on. Yes. Okay, there we go. Cleanse. I think that... Oh, look at the damage. I think that had to have been... Oh, here comes the stone skin. Drop the hammer, Arnorn. Now, I don't know if we can survive. I was going to say the Rhodos. Genuinely not be able to survive the stone skin hit, believe it or not, because of how absurdly strong it is. But this should kill him. As long as there's no aspect to Sir off. Dude, this team actually functions. This is kind of nuts. I didn't think that this would work as well, but having the protection set, honestly, kind of legitimately fantastic. Kind of working out great. Let's do, ooh, here we go. We got an Empress here. Let's take him into an Empress. Now, if Tormund doesn't get a protected buff this time, okay, that's insane that the RNG was that bad. Now, funny enough, we're going up against a Gizmak, so these Stone Skin buffs are going to be eaten in, right? But even Empress can't do anything. He can't switch us over. We're still in Stone Skin. We're still chilling, right? The only person who's out of Stone Skin at this point is Arnorn, and that's okay. We can work with that. Everybody's hopefully procced all their fun stuff. Now, we could try to remove the buffs. We could try, frankly, to go for Marichki here, but I don't know if we're going to get, right, if we're going to get it with a Stone Skin. Let's try. All right, we got, oh, what? Is that how that works? So we got everything but the Stone Skin. I actually did not realize that that worked that way. He counterattacked us? Is that what just happened there? Looks like it. Okay, kill. Nice, beautiful. Kill again. He triggers our Stone Skin because of the reflect damage. We cleanse. We put him in. We pound. Nice. Now, let's see. We get enough damage here. Can Arnorn get back? Nope, Arnorn can't get back. That's okay. Land the provoke. AoE. Big damage. He dies. Necrosis. We res. Oh no. He attacked because the passive. That's actually bad for us. That's actually very bad. And it's a GG. And it's a go next. Oh no. Admiral's orders. Kill, kill, kill. Oh no, everybody's dying. It's we're in trouble. Oh no, that was good. That was good though. I mean, frankly, one of the absolute toughest things you could do with a Gizmak that can burn through your Stone Skin, right? And Empress hypothetically could just delete your Stone Skin without needing accuracy, but still, that was fun. What else we got here? Anyone else that's not a lockout team? Oh, let's try an Armand's team. This will be fun. Let's try an Armand's team. It's kind of a fun champion, actually. It's kind of changing my mind. You know what I mean? Well, sheep still deletes anything. Like, we don't have to worry about that. Oh, God, polymorph. Christ. Just chill here. All our Stone Skin is gone, so Armand gets to go on a rampage. Senna is dead. The Queen is dead. It's not looking good for our boys. For our sweet dwarf boys. Oh no, Blacktusk is down. Oh, there comes at least the AoE. We're losing a ton of attack though, and I think we're gonna get cooked. He becomes a sheep because of wand, so he got wanded there. Who is the more dangerous? I think Sifi. We got the extra turn. That's big. Don't know if we can kill. Oh my God, we actually killed. No way. Oh, but we're stunned. Oh no, and now we're in the blender. But we have polymorph. We have polymorph on. Can we get the dub? You know what? Forget the dub. Let's just freeze. It worked. Against all odds. Salty. I'm not salty after that victory. Okay. I mean, it wasn't pretty. It was pretty ugly, but it ended up working out. Let's see if we can find one more, like, nice team. One more seek for a nice team. Here we go. Asking you shall receive. Not insane power level, but frankly, with these champions, it doesn't matter. Galathier, Marichka, seek for nice. Someone has been blessed. Let's actually switch Senna back in so we don't, speed-wise, don't get cooked. All right, and hopefully we don't get block revived. Okay, the Stone Skin buffs are up. Only Admiral Blacktusk got the bonus one there. Removes all buffs. What do we want to do here? Remove all buffs. Okay, we got the Stone Skin buff that time. Sick. That's big. Oof, nice is just so filthy good, right? Teams up with an ally to attack. Let's try this against the Sequin, see if we can trigger. Yep, we trigger, but he's still... Oh, now we're in trouble, but he can't strip our Arnorn. Can't get a little Arnorn strippy. Can I just kill this nice? Let's try. Should kill him, I'm pretty sure. Take him out of the picture. Love to see it. AoE. Polymorph coming in clutch. Can we jack the... Oh no, he's awake. No, he's awake. Surprisingly, we haven't been polymorphed, at least from the increase... whatchamacallit, the increase... or decrease speed. Yeah. Beep, boop, beep, boop. So, okay. So, he's really fun, right? Like, he's actually kind of fun. It's fun to put up protected stone skin buffs that are 100% guaranteed not to get stripped. It's interesting in Arena. Like, I think one of the problems... We'll do one more team. Let's go over here down to the Marius. I think one of the challenges for Blacktusk is just... There really aren't a lot of ultra meta dwarf arena champions per se. You know what I mean? Like, you really don't have... what do we do here? This strips the debuffs, right? I keep forgetting which one does what. Places a stun debuff on them. That's protected. We can't do anything there. So we'll stun over there, and then the black damage goes up, and okay, he became a sheep. That's good. Reaction clutching up. No point in doing anything at the moment. We're just kind of chilling. Probably have enough damage to... I think we should be able to... Let's see if we can A1 kill this Arbiter. No, increased defense kind of clutch, you know what I mean? But we got her there. That's good. You also don't have a lockout champion in dwarves. At least I don't think so. I'll have to double check that. But half the time I'm like, which one? What do they do again? All right, we should be able to kill the Odin here. Beautiful. The ally attack. Okay, we kill here. Boop boop. Almost. That's an aspect to Serath. All right, Admiral Blacktusk coming in to finish him off. Double hitter. Marius is back, and now he's dead. All right, that worked. So, and that's like, that's not a bad team. Odin, Marius, Necrit, not bad. I think he definitely struggles against, like, any kind of lockout. You know what I mean? I think you really, in order to get the full value of Blacktusk, let's go back into dwarves. In order to get the full value of Blacktusk, you really kind of have to have certain champions. I mean, you could use Frolny. Like, Frolny is certainly... valid. Mine's not built right now. It's the only reason I haven't put him in there. But you could use Frolny instead of someone like Arnorn. But I think Arnorn in some ways kind of makes so much sense. Just with his passive, right? Like the fact that he can stone skin himself, but you can maybe get extra turns out of him before that happens. So maybe you can drop your A2, you can do your nuke, then A2 to get the extra turn, and then get back to the nuke. Maybe even get a cooldown reset. Senna, I feel realistically, there's a lot of dwarves that you don't really want to use in PvP. Like Mountain King is super power crept. Borger, Granjar, Nari. You're not using a Crizia in PvP. You could hypothetically, I guess, use Newt in PvP, but it's not really his best use case, right? Like that's usually going to be more of PvE. Kind of same with Underpriest. You used to use him a little bit in PvP, not as much anymore. And Trunda certainly could work. We could do like one, let's do that. Let's take a quick look. Where is my Frolny at? Yeah, he's just missing a crit damage amulet. You know what? I can throw that in quickly. We'll just mix it up one time. Just so we get the full experience. We'll throw 2 different champions in there to get a feel. We'll take out the Torment. We'll take out the Senna. Let's just go full damage. Full dwarf damage, right? Dwarves. Now my Trunda, my Fjordjad isn't built. My Trunda is actually not built for full crit rate. So she's built for Hydra specifically. Surprise, surprise. Okay, everyone got cooldown increased except for Frolny. This also kind of worst case scenario if people don't get their buffs protected. Oh, boop, boop. Okay. Oh, no. This should work, hopefully, to kill. Yeah, nice. We stole it. Great. And who do I want to kill here? Honestly, just kill the other damage dealer. Oh, we're petrified. Kill the other damage dealer again. There you go. This should be a dub, I think. Right? Frolny doing some work. Gotta do a World's Strongest Frolny video at some point. This build isn't even that good. Weak hits there. That's never fun. Come on, Arnorn. Come on, Arnorn. There you go. Trigger the passive. There it is. Boom. It's so quick. You don't even see it. But that actually worked. And against lockout, too. We didn't get locked out on the Frolny. Let's do one more. Oh, Commodus. Bombs. Okay. Okay. Do they have them set to just switch over and bomb or not? How are we faster? How in the world are we faster than everybody? Somebody explain this to me. How are we this much faster? Yeah, we can just do that. Stun. Great. Awesome. Oh, okay. She was first. Turn meter would be really nice if I had an idea of who was going next. Hey, Raid, it's been 6 years. Maybe we could have a turn meter order. Yep, there go the bombs. So you can clearly see that bombs are quite a large counter to our sweet boy Admiral Blacktusk, unless you're building your champions in Feral or Immunity set as well. But overall, fun champion. Definitely not the meta. Definitely not the meta. I do wish you didn't have to use protection set on him. I do kind of wish, although it is, funny enough, maybe the best set regardless, even if the Stone Skin buffs were protected, because at least you get the guaranteed protection. But frankly, it would be better if they were protected like any other Stone Skin buff would be from a set, because then you could have protection on top of protection, where if you didn't land one, you'd still have some level of confidence that your Stone Skin buff wouldn't get burned off. But, you know, I think the biggest thing holding back Blacktusk is really just the people in his faction. You don't have the meta mythicals, right? I haven't used Fjordjab, but the reviews are quite bad. Frolny isn't great. He's just okay compared to the other mythicals that are out here. You don't have people to do any type of lockout. Yeah, so there is no lockout, at least for the legendaries. Am I missing anybody down here that could lock out? Possibly, but I don't see them. So that's really what holds them back. This faction compared to others is really missing some key components. You got a couple revivers. Senna's obviously great, but not really as much of an arena champion necessarily as some of the other revivers that are out there. Molly is okay, but not really great in arena anymore thanks to Stone Skin stuff. Arnorn's incredible for damage, but just overall, you're missing the kind of pieces. You could use Herndrig, I guess, depending on what level of arena you're at, but for an endgame player, you're really missing the kind of champions that could make this champion absurd. Like if there were a great lockout champion in Dwarfs or a better mythical, you know what I mean, then I think you would see a little more value. Now, for Classic Arena, if you're someone who has multiple Arnorns, maybe it's a different story, right? Like if you've got 2 or 3 different Arnorns in Classic Arena and they're all triggering, I guess the passive doesn't trigger though, does it? Except for one is right? Yeah, never mind. I got ahead of myself because I thought, wow, that could be insane. But of course, it doesn't work the way I thought it would. But, you know, balancing issues, what can you do? So, yeah, overall, Blacktusk, he's just okay. He's just okay. He's got an interesting stuff. He's got a kind of an interesting kit, but he's not really doing anything that's incredible compared to some of the other Unity, like faction Unity champions. Like, realistically, there are a ton that are just frankly better than him. Volcanos, better than him. Champions like, I don't know, I don't have Heraclites, so I can't speak to that, but Teox, just better than him at what he does. Who else is better? Visig is supposed to be pretty good, though I don't have him, at least for PvE. No, not Falmond. Who am I thinking of? Valent is pretty solid from what I have heard. Like trying to find, I've heard Koleth is all right. I don't know. Some of these faction like Unity champions, some of them are really, really, really good. Some of them are just okay. So it's kind of hit or miss thing. But I think the biggest thing holding him back is just the people around him. And his kit, I will say, his kit is not phenomenal. Like his abilities aren't really top tier like some of the other champs that are out there. So that's kind of the other side of it too. But fun. He's fun to throw in. Fun to throw in with an all dwarf team and just see what you can do. But certainly not in the meta, and probably not something you're going to see in Arena too often. Again, you might see it in Siege if you really sit down and try to just max all your dwarfs, and maybe there's a dwarfs only Siege condition. That might be probably his place to shine, where if you have an Admiral Blacktusk and somebody else doesn't, that could be potentially an easy win depending on how you build your champs. But other than that, just all right. But anyway, that's what I think. What do you guys think? Do you think he's worth pulling for, or did you go for him? Did you get him? Have you built him? I'd love to know what you think and your opinions on the champion as well. So let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys on a video soon. Thank you so much. Big Papa Drock, out.